All right. So, just the other day, I happened to be looking at Ethan's Twitter feed and came across this, and it's interesting. So, two short videos. Let's go ahead and look at those real quick.
I'm back home, ready to get back to it. There's not enough time in this video to thank everyone I need to thank, so I will be doing it in a live stream. Once again, FNT Vegas exceeded all expectations. Had the time of my life. I cannot wait to do it again next year and meet some more of you. And yes, we will do more of these as time goes on. And I might be in Vegas in a couple of weeks for something completely different. More on that later. So once again, thanks to everyone who helped make this event happen. See you on YouTube. I'm back home.
So for anybody who doesn't know, Friday Night Tights apparently did a Vegas show and all this shit. I mean, I noticed it. I didn't watch any of it. He didn't care. So anyway, that happened. Apparently they're quite full of themselves. This is the other video.
Hi guys, Jessi Milestone here, and I am making this because I need to address something that happened over the weekend in Las Vegas at the fan meetup. And before I do, I just want to say that I did reach out to Gary from Nerdrotic to see if he'd like to submit a statement for me to read along with what I have to say so that I could represent his perspective as well. But at this time, he has not responded. So Jeff and I went out to the Millennium Fandom Bar on Thursday night in Vegas for the fan meetup, and we went because we knew a lot of our fans were going to be there, and you know, we were really excited to see them and interact with them, and we had a really wonderful
Can't
time.
stop playing with her
on
hair.
Thursday. Jeremy came right up, gave me a big old hug, and it was just great. It was awesome. This is a meetup. It was sponsored by Geeks and Gamers and Nerdrotic, and you know, we obviously have a lot of crossover in that audience, and so we had an amazing time just with fellow YouTubers and fans and all of that. And over the next couple.
Yeah, and it was sponsored by Geeks and Gamers and Nerdrotic. And as far as I'm aware, doesn't she work for Jeremy? I mean, I don't pay attention because I don't really give a shit. But I think that she does, or she did the last time I knew anything about it, because I know that she used to, because he basically told everybody to fuck off when they didn't like the fact that he has her, who was one of his she was one of the first major extremely liberal minded people that he had working for him, and so a lot of people took exception to her horrible political takes on things, and Jeremy basically told everybody who has a problem with that to fuck off and die, because he'll have whoever he wants, and if he wants leftists, he'll have leftists. And by God, has he doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down on that, and employed more and more of them.
Couple days we had more great times and received no indication from anybody that or Gary.
But my point is, if she is working with Jeremy or has or whatever, then if it's co-sponsored by him, then what's the problem with her being there?
Himself that there was any issue or problem with us having been there on Thursday, and so we were really excited to return on Saturday and see everybody again, and we did. We came in, walked in the room. I smiled at this beautiful woman with this incredible blue sparkly eye makeup on. Well, it turns out that was Gary's wife, and she came over to me a few minutes later to tell me that it was incredibly rude that we had shown up on Thursday, and that we weren't welcome, and to get the fuck out. And at that time, we had fans literally coming over to us asking us to sign things, so we were there for the fans, so we kept signing some things. And then Gary came over, and he got right in my face, and he yelled at me in the middle of the room that this was an event for his fans, and that I wasn't welcome, and I needed to leave. And when I pointed out that a lot of his guests are also my fans, he said that if I didn't leave, that he would get the owner and have me removed. So I left. Well, we left. Spent a lot of great, still had, did but people there who wanted to see us, so we spent some time outside talking with the fans. I actually met a lot of really great Nerdrotic fans that I didn't even know before, and had a really great conversations with them. Spent some wonderful time in the bar with our other YouTuber friends, and I don't understand. Gary wouldn't give me an explanation, and I'm still trying to understand what happened and why I was treated that way in front of all of our fans. Sorry. And I just want to say that if I've ever done something to cause another community a problem, I'm deeply sorry, and even more sorry if I've ever made anybody else feel unwelcome in my community or on my channel. Up until this weekend, I thought we were all part of the same community, and we were all part of, the same, on the same side. It has been made very clear to me that I'm not welcome in that community anymore, and that's fine. That's their decision. But I just want, everyone to know that as far as I'm concerned, Gary will always have a place in the Fandom Menace, and as will his fans, and that community will always have a place with us and with my community, with the Mindless Mob. So that's it. That's all the information I have. That's everything I can say about this. If you want to know more, you're going to have to ask Gary. But yeah, so hi. Long live the Mindless Mob. God Empress out.
So, on the face of it, that does sound kind of cold of Gary. But then again, consider that's her word for it. And she says he got in her face and screamed at her, and it's like, it could just as easily be that he came up and got close so that she could hear him and then whispered to her, and she just took it as screaming, because I'm just saying, it could be. As far as why, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe Gary's not too thrilled that you threw Tom under the bus. The way that you did. I don't know. Just a thought. So I'm not taking sides on this one. I don't give a shit. Don't really care. It's like, but thought I'd cover the fact that it's happening. CG better than the Fandom Menace. Well, yes. Oof, I wonder what happened. Yet also, it's kind of not my business. Maybe behind the scenes, bullying and cliques, I assume, is very real. It can destroy friendships or so-called friendships. Well, EVS is one of the only YouTubers hasn't changed the first video watched in 2018, last video watched last night, except for more elaborate wardrobe. He whispers a little less. Yes, he used to whisper a lot. That was weird. I didn't start watching him until after he'd kind of gotten over that, so. Trending Ric Flair? What, did he fucking die? Or something? Or was he already dead? I don't know. I don't keep track of that either. Like, the last time I watched wrestling was like 20 years ago. What the fuck? Heard on last Friday Night Tights, we're rock stars now. Oh, so I guess they decided to act like dickheads. Can't tell if this content farming or you still cheesed over previous self-created brouhaha. Either way, popcorn. Boy, that escalated quickly. That's a clip that Mike S. Miller likes to use on his videos. My love for them is fading away. It is the same topics day after day, week after week. All of a sudden, I'm gonna come is a thing for them. I remember when they lifted smaller channels. With all the money they get on a Friday, they could have filmed Friday Night Tights live in front of fans. Fun idea, but logistically that would be impossible. How so? I really don't think it would have been. I mean, I think you could easily, I mean, not in front of all of the fans, if that's what you mean, but, like, in front of a group of fans who could show up someplace? Yeah, they could fucking do that. What are you talking about? A fan of Gary and Jess, and you, EVS. I wasn't there. Can't speak to any of it. I have to imagine there's more to this story. What? I don't know. Hate seeing this sort of stuff happen. Hopefully, folks will talk and in time work out whatever this is. I wouldn't count on that. Ridiculous what happened. I've always preferred Doomcock's Friday Night Frolics anyway. Way more upbeat, positive, and fun. That is true. That is true. Doomcock keeps things pretty lighthearted most of the time. What the fuck is going on with that little group? Well, we've been asking that for a while now, haven't we? Gotta love videos that create more questions than answers. Yeah. Not necessarily a big fan of Jessi, but that is pretty rude. If that's what actually happened, then yes. Especially since her and Jeff are the only ones creating anything over in the Fandom Menace outside of EVS. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know how much they're actually creating, but, yeah. Alright, and now, let's see, where are we? Here we are. It looks like the GriftWars have begun. This is a fight for the heart and souls of YouTube pay pigs. From quick analysis, most of the nerd ragers with high audience interaction closely aligned with Gary Nerdrotic. I was surprised to see that the morbidly obese tuber as heel vs. babyface regularly gets double the interactions as Frog. Really? That's weird. Circular firing squad makes sense. There's not a Star Wars movie to get worked up over. Well, I mean, the Phantom Menace would just go see it and then bitch. So it's not like they do anything constructive. So there is no strong external foci. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Foci? I don't know. With several dozen people competing for the Nerd Rage. Nerd Rage is actually a channel, isn't it? Demographic. Nerdrotic seems to have the strongest lineup. Attachments. The Phantom Menace is over. Friday Night Tights has replaced it. Why is there a line there? What? And all the cool kids are there. Anyone wanting to feed off Gary's crumbs needs to do some serious ass-kissing. I wouldn't be surprised if an army of ass-kissers goes after Jessi for speaking out. And Ethan says, the Phantom Menace is just critics and disenfranchised fans of Star Wars and similar pop culture. It isn't over, but it does seem like very few of them are actually willing to stand behind their words, and most are more interested in protecting their brand. Too bad. More schisms on the way. This is the true appeal of CG. It's weird watching the focus of these movements shift from consumer advocacy to creator advocacy to internal personality drama to overt tribal struggles for pay-pig attention and brand protection. My brand. I would say that someone should write a paper on it if sociology wasn't a trash fire science. I just hope it stays entertaining. Amen. It's in a waning phase. No comic pro with any sense is going to argue with them publicly anymore. It appears to be sifted down to the Frog fan club. He seems to be mostly talking about CG rather than the Phantom Menace. Pardon me, which there is overlap, but, I mean, this is clearly a Phantom Menace thing. The pop culture warrior space on YouTube is saturated, and the primaries know it. The disenfranchised 45-year-old comic fans have all been reached. Well, I don't know that all of them have been, but anyway. The large indicator will be when the aspirational creators grossing $2,000 to $7,500 all wrap it up and pack it in. This has been the most zealous proselytizers of CG. When they realize that is never going to be their turn, it's largely over. Yeah, this started up 5 months ago in March when Zack Snyder showed up on Geeks and Gamers. Said he didn't want Jeremy's logo on his charity because he didn't want to be associated with a hate movement, and the without respect we reject leaders just stared at the floor and took it for the sake of the Geeks and Gamers brand. My brand. You can read our posts here as it happened. This led to a schism between the mighty Fandom Menace GriftWars that declared themselves as moving on from their original purpose and become more general pop culture whiners and increasingly optimized super chat extraction shows. Standing against this... What the hell? Ask somebody to borrow one item, and then they act like, oh, you just wanted to borrow, any item. It's like, no, I wanted a specific item. If you don't have that, then I need to look for it someplace else. Anyway, standing against this was Frog, along with some of the smaller, more ideologically based Fandom Menace people. Called upon them to stop consuming mainstream media and move on to consuming alternatives like Cyberfrog. Well, I mean, it's a better use of your time and money. I mean, the alternative is not buying anything. But if you're going to spend your money, you should spend it on something. You should spend it on people who don't fucking hate you. It's like even if you consider them to be grifters as well. At least if they're small time grifters instead of large corporate grifters, then it's like it's still a slightly positive move. Anyways, the latest flare-up can be attributed to the handsome Jessi milestone, who some months after the initial... Well, I did say when we EFAP'd her and Mary Mayhem and whoever the fuck else, I said, the third girl there, she's got too much forehead, and Mary's got the crazy eyes, and it's like, of the three of them, it's like, which one would I be most attracted to? It would have to be Jessi, which I realize a lot of people would be like, ugh, gag me with a dog biscuit, but it's like, between the three of them, I'm sorry, it's like, I try to be honest, so. Who some months after the initial schism decided to side with histrionic Mary Mayhem against Gary Nerdrotic Beekler's consigliere Tom Connors of Midnight's Edge for abusive behavior in DMs, behind-the-scenes gatekeeping, and generally treating them as disposable super chat chum instead of fellow culture warriors in arms. Do we know for sure that he actually did that, or that's just how they took it? Because I know from experience that sometimes women just decide to take things a certain way, regardless of how, it actually would have sounded to a disinterested third party. At no point did Jessi think that these stances and actions would be a problem. She crashed Nerdrotic's in real life pig meetup. But it turns out that she was mistaken. As Nerdrotic's wife called her unforgivably rude and told her to get the fuck out of there. Jessi wonders where the unity as Fandom Menacers went. That was perhaps a bit of a oversight on her part to not think that went through. The Fandom Menace is not Comicsgate. Correct. That was glorious. Awful if you bought into the Fandom Menace, but glorious. The CG versus Fandom Menace Cold Wars has continued to simmer since the occasional flare-ups. I could say no, not gonna make that reference. On the Fandom Menace side, they absolutely aren't going to out and out shit on Snyder bronies. Ugh. Well, some of them did, and they had every right to. Those faggots give Gary a fortune that he doles out like the tard king he is. On the other side is CG. Ethan's motives are different because CG's driving goal is to get pay piggies to buy CG material as an alternative. So for Ethan to say, close your wallet, he really wants you to give him your money instead of Disney or HBO. Well, again, even if you consider Ethan a grifter, it still is arguably a positive move to give him your money instead of Disney or HBO. If he was in Gary's position, would he still do that? I don't know. It's certainly a growing divide. Well, it's Gary's not asking people to give him money instead of Disney. He's asking them to give him money as well as Disney. That's the problem. And he also, in turn, will give other people's money that he gets from the pay pigs. He will give that to, Disney and other corporate media, because he still buys all that shit. He's, as far as I know, he's still occasionally buying toys. I mean, I know that what was it he's talking about? Not too long ago, he was talking about buying some insanely expensive. What was it? Was it a Batman figure or something? I don't know. It's like, so it's like, yeah. I mean, he's spending all these people that bitch about corporate bullshit online. He's taking their fucking money and he's spending it on corporate merchandise. It's like, it's like, thank you for the $200 super chat. I'm going to go out and buy, a DC or Marvel statue with it. A licensed property that they're going to get, that Disney's getting money for, or Warner Brothers, whatever. Anyway, it's certainly a growing divide, because if you really don't care about He-Man, you aren't going to give Gary $500 to read a super chat ranting about it. If they knew how to market their product better and took a few effective speech classes, then they might be doing better. Well, yeah, probably. People like to be entertained. This is why some creators are where they are, with a small, tight-knit group of people, and creators like Frog are where they are making hundreds of thousands of dollars with every campaign they do. Well, yes, Ethan has certainly learned how to he's not always entertaining. Not to me anyway, but he is often entertaining. A fair number of CG creators, they're not very entertaining at all. They're just not. And if they, I think some of them don't even try, but some of them try, and it's like, oh man, that's just just doesn't work for you. Sorry, you ain't got it. You ain't got it, son. Anyway. What I'd like to know is how Tim Lim managed to what he did over and over again without a strong YouTube presence. Now that to me is impressive. Yeah, Tim Lim has been quite successful. Anime titties, lots and lots of anime titties. Well, that's part of it. I don't know that that's the only thing, but it's certainly part of it. Jessi Milestone is doing a live stream at what appears to be midnight U.S. Eastern Time. Little under 3 hours from when I post this. What happens in Vegas is selectively retold for the amusement of others. I can absolutely guarantee everyone will not be watching it. As a side note, I did watch a little bit of it, and I clicked off to watch Ethan, who was streaming at the same time, and then clicked back to it because he had a coughing fit. He's probably got a breakthrough infection or something. We're probably, he's probably going to die. Let's be honest with ourselves. He got the jab. Now he's probably doomed, and we're never actually going to see the end of Cyberfrog. Moment of silence. Hopefully he'll be fine. But anyway, he ended his stream because he was having a coughing fit, and so I went back to watching Jessi, and I did notice in the description of her video, though, it said, we won't be fucking talking about the drama with Nerdrotic. And it's like, oh, well, that would be the only reason why anyone would want to watch this fucking stream. So I went and watched something else instead. Also, Mr. Dongs also left off the top comment on the Jessi Milestone video. I heard about this over the weekend. What a mess. Ah, okay. Whether this will cause any CG versus Friday Night Tights drama, meh, probably not, but one can always hope. Yeah, one can always hope. And here's Kami Mark, the legendary triple quote post. It's beautiful. Never thought I'd see one in the wild. Whoa, what? Oh, he's okay. That's Edwin's post from earlier. Yeah, you do. Quality product, good price, on time, and respectfully delivered. Same way Brian Polito did it. Well, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, Tim Lim he has fast turnaround. It is a quality product. He is very pleasant person. That doesn't hurt, but it hasn't made a household name out of Battle Maiden knuckle boobs. True, it hasn't. Yeah, lots of people have anime titties, and it doesn't necessarily do anything for them. Anyway, I'm kind of shocked. How could there possibly be a Friday Night Tights meetup without shrill harpy Jessi Mazza? Well, has she ever been on Friday Night Tights? I mean, I guess surely she has at some point, but she's, she has. As far as I know, she's been on there, if at all, she's been on there less than even Macarandum was, and she wasn't on there hardly at all. Of course, and part of that is because, as I've said before, these women, they often don't bring very much to the table. They just don't. They don't contribute a whole lot when they're fucking there. So why would you have them on unless they're just particularly nice eye candy? The first thing I think of whenever Friday Night Tights is mentioned is Jessi and her endless, amazing insight into the workings of Hollywood. I hope he's being facetious. Because I don't think of Jessi at all when I think of Friday Night Tights. I cannot possibly understand how Gary could ever have an issue with a woman who has done streams and videos telling everyone what a cunt he is and how Macarandum is a truly beautiful and wonderful yet misunderstood YouTuber who also brings with her much knowledge about every subject she touches. Okay, yes. Last time I heard Jessi on a stream was a Mr. H one where even poor Jeff sounded a wee bit embarrassed. Ah, yes. Well, we watched that one, didn't we? Jessi and Jeff are really strange people. Okay. They both seem constantly on the edge of a mental breakdown, and yet through sheer codependency, they manage to drag themselves through another day. Jessi is a rabid attack dog who would just as soon commit friendly fire because her infamously itchy trigger finger doesn't have the patience to wait for an actual enemy to care enough about her to present themselves. That sounds like a great idea for just an insane, sort of anime or manga type thing, doesn't it? The kind of butch chick who's super trigger happy is. I mean, doesn't that sound like a Japanese trope? And Jeff is just a thoroughly defeated man. I think the stealing solo debacle really broke him, as it rightfully should have. But ever since, he seems even more passive than ever. I've only had the time to hear Jessi's side of the story, and based on that alone, I'm leaning towards siding with whatever irrelevant loser she's feuding with. She's one of the most abrasive people I've ever encountered, and I don't blame anyone for wanting a break from her for any reason whatsoever. On a side note, I find it amusing that Frog thought it was a good idea to invite these two people. Oh damn. Ugh. Why I'm yawning? I should be tired. Invite these two people into his personal life, as he will now be tasked with tacitly defending their antics in perpetuity. Edit, shots fired. Oh, I guess I didn't see this.
I actually said Jeremy wasn't a zero, but I take that back. That was definitely the nerve rip. Jeremy is a zero. Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, EVS has been kind of hinting at him really kind of not liking Jeremy all that much anymore for a while now, hasn't he? I mean, he's kept it kind of low key. He just kind of, mentions it in an offhand sort of manner. He doesn't really come right out and say, "Yeah, Jeremy's a fucking asshole." It's like he's just, But yeah, he's been doing that for a while. Oh, she was the star of the show. What is this?
Fuck it, I'll get petty. So like one time I was ever live on a stream with Doomcock ever, because by the way, he has never invited me to do anything with him ever. Fine by me. Never cared for the guy. The one time I ended up just accidentally live on some big ass stream with him, it was hysterical because I don't know. Apparently I'm funny. I guess I do stand up comedy out here, and apparently the hardest city to do it. I guess I'm okay at it.
News to all of us.
I don't know. But I understand my audiences. People laugh. People seem to like what I do, so I keep doing it. And then he comes on the stream and rides the actual worst joke. It's like a bad Star Trek pun, and he rides it into the ground immediately. Like by the first punchline, it's dead. And then he continues riding it into the ground for 5 more minutes. It's painful. But the cute part is...
God, I didn't even pay attention to this the first time through. Look at their faces. Like, all of them look uncomfortable to be listening to this.
The moment I realize Doomcock hates me because he can't do what I do. Because every time I pull off one of my, like, all right, let me just go on a rant. Let me just go talk about things that people care about, because I am brimming with passion 24/7 and want to just yell about things forever. Andy knows this. And then I'm done. And then Doomcock decides he wants to do the same, and then doesn't. And then he isn't spontaneous. He doesn't have that live, that whatever, that thing. And then I realize exactly who he is. I'm like, oh, you're just the person trying to create the court that you can be the king of. But in reality, you're the jester. And I don't know. I'm laughing at him.
Mr. H.
He's not funny, but he's the jester. Gotcha.
H. How many ears does Captain Kirk have?
10.
No, he has 3. He has a left ear and a right ear and a final front ear.
I like it. I need to just address
Was that
this.
it,
So
Jessi? Was that your joke? No.
it was good.
Thank
Donut
you.
Swan says, Mr. H, sent to Jessi, like you said Gary should do.
Anyway, so yes, I don't know. I mean, first of all, Doomcock. I probably mentioned this already when we did this, when we EFAP this video, but Doomcock, he can do a really good rant. He can be pretty fucking hilarious when he goes on a rant about Star Trek or Star Wars or something and swears a blue streak. So yeah, that's pretty entertaining. And also, she was complaining about him running it into the ground, and I think maybe she doesn't understand that when he does that, that's on purpose. Like that's the joke, is that it's a dad joke and he's running it into the ground. Like that's what makes it funny, and she doesn't get that. Anyway, at Frog, I think your dear friend Jessi Milestone would be the most perfect addition to your show. She's so funny. Isn't she, at Frog? Isn't she funny? Yes or no? She's funny, isn't she, for Frog? You do think she's funny, don't you, Frog? Answer the question. Oh. So wait. First, we got the Zack Snyder situation where Geeks and Gamers ends up looking like complete fools, and then Jeremy had the gall to say, "They are afraid of us. We're winning." Then the Mecha versus Tom drama, which ends up fucking up one of the few shows I still watch because Mary is about as funny as a chemotherapy session. After that, everyone shits on Doomcock, and later, Frog and Az happens. Jessi took the anti-Friday Night Tights stance every time, and somehow she can't figure out the puzzle. She's either a psycho feigning ignorance and faking tears for her amusement, or a complete retard. Place your bets, folks. Place your bets. The recent High Council implies that there was a third party involved, but wouldn't give any details. Want to hear the punchline? Gary is going to play the "I'm a big boy who doesn't involve himself in drama" for like the 11th time. This is more fun than any crowd-funded comic, not gonna lie. Jeremy and my brand and his go-to defense, we play Mario Kart as some kind of shield that they aren't outrage grifters, is pathetic. There's something very desperate about the guy. Yeah. The wearing of promotional clothing all the time, and another time I could see him decked out in Mountain Dew hat and coat, or something like that. Gary is much better at damage control and brand management, dealing with all these little oddballs and weirdos. Not hard to seem more put together in comparison. However, there's no going back once geeks cucked to Zack Snyder. That's just me, though. I think Frog's critique of them is interesting, as he can maintain a moral high ground even if his solution is completely self-interested. Did anybody... yeah, that's what we saw, right? Anybody watch this? I found it too disgustingly slobbish looking and dumb/dull to do anything more than skim through it very fleetingly. I did spot this in the chat, if any frog spotters are interested. Oh, no, that's the live stream. Like I said, it was dull as dishwater. Ethan said, I just left to go watch Sprite commercials with Kid and Play, and then also Crisscross. Okay. Seems like good advice, even though he can't spell crisscross. Oh, man, I remember them. Shit, that was a long time ago. I remember watching them on the Kids' Choice Awards. Yeah, wasn't that a thing while was Trump president, or was he still running for president when, like, the kids voted like for him for something at the Kids' Choice Awards, and so they had to they had to be like, no, that's not how it went. You know, they had to falsify the results or whatever so that because we can't let the evil orange man take home, an orange-colored award. Or a gold one, which is both of those colors are inextricably associated with him. Anyway, looking at Fatso, what's his name in what? Huh? Looking at Fatso, what's his name in bed under the covers. It's too emotionally scarring after 10 minutes. Okay, he's talking about Jeff. Plus the audio was circa 2003 or something, so I minimizing it was pointless. Couldn't hear shit. Finally, it just sucked. Basically, a Nasser Rabati tier live stream. Oh, come on. Nasser's better than that. He's got soy rage, Gotta hand it to Frog and Nerdrotic. Both are a hell of a lot more entertaining in their live streams. I don't know that I'd agree about Nerdrotic, honestly. I mean, it's not... I don't know. It's not anything specific that I object to about him. It's just that... I don't know. There's just... I don't know. Gary just... whenever I watch Gary, it's just kind of... I just can't help but feel meh about the whole thing. It doesn't inspire any kind of passion in me about whatever the fuck he's talking about. Anyway, Ez gets that much interaction because he's always saying stupid hypocritical stuff that makes you want to post shit on his comments. Well, that makes sense. If this is true, it just makes them all the more pathetic. They can tell Jeff to fuck off, but not Snyder. Yeah. Well, certainly gives off some strong Jeff... whatever the fuck vibes. Ugh. Rule 172 of the internet. If pedo content is defended, the defendant is a pedo? No exceptions? Oh, we're talking about just some guy. Okay. Oh, and there's another page. There's another page. It's Mecca. Liam is now claiming someone smashed his mailbox. Oh boy. Okay, well, we'll get to that. Alright, Liam, and Liam. Okay, so this is all Liam shit. Okay, so there's nothing more apparently about about the Phantom Menace at the moment. So anyway, so yeah, that happened. That happened. Ugh. Man. And like I said, it's like I'm not picking any sides here. It's just they're both. It's just I don't know. It's just. Oh, all right. Until the next one.